Hey guys, welcome back to Cuda Cave. Thank you for watching my channel. It's been a great adventure. The channel's been up for a year now. 440 subscribers I think I seen when I checked this morning. I'm happy with the growth. It's moving along. As far as my car goes, I do have it listed as 1971 Cuda Restoration, but really it's a Cuda build. I do have numbers matching car. I don't have a build sheet. I don't have a fender tag. For all I know, this could be a pink car. It could be I don't know, green, whatever. But the original colors that I'm seeing on it was purple. So really there's no specs for me to have to follow any guidelines whatsoever. So by fabbing up the pieces, like the back seat pans, this is just, I want a driver. I want to jump in my car. I want to enjoy it on a nice day, go for a drive and enjoy. A lot of people, they just build their cars. It's got to be, those marks have got to be in the right spot. The bolts got to be the proper ones. If I got a 5/16 bolt and I need it, I'm going to put it in. So with that in mind, I'm building this car from my heart. This is a car that my dad had, and I'm loving building this car one weekend at a time. So out here in the shop, I play around with it on the weekend, get a little bit of work done on it. Next weekend, I'll do a little bit more work. And I thank you guys for enjoying the journey, being a part of it. So without further ado, let me show you the inside with the floor pans. I'll show you what I'm doing on the back. We got a little bit of manipulating to do. I got to mark out where I got to drill my holes for the plug welds, but that's not a big deal. But yeah, let me show you what we got. Here we are, guys. We're inside the car now. So as you can see, I got the new pan sitting in place. So we got to push down a few little spots here, get it lining up nice. But I'm really happy with the result. I'm really happy with where everything's landing. There's a few gaps I got to fill if you look in between the new piece and the inner wheel well, but that's got to be pulled. That's got to be pulled out anyways. So I'll get my spot welder in there. We'll throw a good couple spots all the way along. I may or may not weld it in right in this area. Run a couple stitches down. I haven't decided yet, but a lot of this is just block and dolly work. But we can manipulate that as we go. So what I want to do is go under the car. I'm going to line out, mark out where the frame rails are so I can drill the holes for the plug welds. Once I have that in there, we can get some MIG welding done. Get this piece in here and start working away on that little corner. Alright guys, so I got a little bit of cleanup doing here. I had a self-tapping screw break off here. It's going to raise it up a little bit. We want everything tight up against this frame rail so when we do it. And I do have holes in here where I put self-tapping screws in to make sure that it pulls everything down tight. So I got a little bit of cleanup doing here yet. And then I've already marked out this piece that we're putting in for the frame rails so I can drill and plug weld afterwards. So we'll just go ahead, we'll clean this up and we'll drill some holes. Hopefully we'll plug weld it in today. Hey guys, so as you can see I got the part out here. We cleaned up what we needed to on the other one. The frame rails inside the car. So true to form, what I've been doing spacing with my plug welds every 2 inches. So what we'll do, I marked out where the frame rails land on this piece. Not sure if you can see it, but there's a black marker line that runs down this piece. So I think it's about 1 inch wide. So we'll just keep that in mind when we do this, about 1 inch. So we'll just make a mark every so often just to remind us that that frame rail is 1 inch wide. And of course the other side, because it flanges up. And it's a rough guess. I'm gonna keep to the outside of that mark, but I just want to be sure that we're getting a good plug weld. Make sure the car is nice and solid. Being a unibody car, it's once it's under torque, she's gonna move a little bit, she's gonna flex a little bit, but either way, it's gonna be fun. So I want to mark out my 2 inches, 2, 4, and I'll just carry on down this piece, and then we'll drill some holes in here, and that'll give us our guide for where we want to plug weld everything. So I've marked it all out, and I'm not sure if you guys can see this or not, but there's a lot of black marks, there's a lot of disorganized chaos. But the chaos is mine. I know what I gotta drill here. You guys just following along. So we'll just get this drilled, get it in place, and do some welding. So we got all the holes drilled in here. Every 2 inches run down the side, match up with the frame rail. So this flange that's going to go on the inner wheel well right here, I have to do the same thing with this. That way we can get good penetration, we can put it on there. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to use my spot welder or if I'm going to actually use the MIG welder and weld these in. My intent is, once this is in, this is the orientation that it's going to be sitting in the car, is run a couple stitches along here. So I may just use my spot welder. That way I know I'm getting spots in here, and we'll put a couple stitches running down. I know the back side of this is actually fairly clean. There's not a lot of bumps and ridges that are going to impede getting it flat up against the frame rail. But what I want to do is actually clean up this side a little bit. That way we don't have any of these little burrs. So see that sticking up? I don't want that stuff in with my weld. I want to make sure that I'm getting good penetration. So you can see the rise on that. So we'll just run the grinder across that, we'll clean that up. Same thing with on the back side, we'll clean it up and make sure that we're getting good penetration, getting good clean welds, and that way we don't have to worry about anything twisting, breaking free. You know how it is, we do a brake torque, we don't want something to break. Unless it's the tires. We want the tires to break, we want a smoke show, but not these parts. We want this nice and solid, that way we can drive it home. So guys, something that I just realized, just popped in my mind. I'm not ready to put this in the car yet. Reason being is this flange that I have on here that's going to match up with the inner wheel well, I gotta weld this on here first. If you've watched my previous video, welding overhead welding sucks, this would be overhead welding if I forgot this. Anybody that's done welding, overhead welding is not fun. The penetration, unless you're really smoking good at it, it can be tricky to make sure that you get that penetration, no drips, no teardrops, stuff like that. So while I got it on the bench here, I want to weld this in. Not sure if I'm going to do a solid weld all the way across here. A few stitch welds will suffice on this piece. But yeah, I'm glad I caught this before I put it in there and started plug welding this to the frame. So we'll go ahead, we'll set up the welder, and we'll put a few beads in here, make sure it's secure. Okay. Here we go, guys. We got the flange all welded in there. Yeah, there's a few spots that my temperature was just a little too hot. Had to dial it back some. But no, I'm happy with that. There's a few really nice welds, and there's some that's not so nice. But this is under the car. We're planning on coating this anyways. But there it is. So we'll clean up the other side because, well, it's a little bit of a mess. I'm welding on wood. It got hot, it got smoky, but we'll clean up where the welds went through, and we'll place this in the car, do some plug welding. All right, guys, so I got a little excited, put the part in here, did a couple little tack welds down in the corners, just to lay everything flat. So what we'll do now, all these little holes that I got in here, each one of these need to be plug welded. So we'll carry on up into here. And up in the top here, I need to pry that down. It's not quite sitting as flat as I'd like it, but we'll make do with what we got to do. But yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll just plug weld all this. And then right along this seam where the new metal meets the original metal, I'll try and run a bead, but I don't think it's going to work, so it'll be a tack, 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 tack as we go down. There's a couple high spots that I got to dolly down a little bit, but for the most part, this is fitting really nice. I'm happy with the result. So let me grab my welder, my helmet, all that other fun stuff, and we'll buzz this in. Alright guys, so for the most part we got this plug welded in just up until the ridge up in there where it meets the back pan. Got to do a little bit of manipulating up there, push it down. But this is looking really good. It's a nice fit. Don't know if you've seen it in the time lapse, but every once in a while you get a blow through. I'm alright with a blow through because the blow through means that I'm getting rid of old steel. We'll build it up, we'll get into good steel. But for the most part, this is fitting really good. I'm gonna clean this up, see if we need to throw a little more weld in there, any pinholes, stuff like that. So we'll just carry on here. We'll get this floor pan in here. But yeah, it's fitting really nice. Alright guys, so after grinding all this down, just a flap wheel, it's looking pretty good. Things are fitting nice. Welds are flush. But I'm planning on putting Dynamat on all of this anyways, so not going to see it as long as it's structurally sound. That's all I'm really worried about. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to finish up the rest of this, and then we'll show you the end result. Alright guys, I'll get the light in the proper location here and we'll show you what we did. So if you see up in that top corner there where the shock mount is, so we had a little bit of a gap in there. Found that underneath I could bang that new sheet metal up and we could get a good weld on there. So everything's sealed up as far as that goes. Got a little bit of a gap up in the back corner there, but I'll stick some aluminum in behind. We'll fill that in, make sure it's structurally sound. But yeah, this is turning out very nice. Yeah, a lot of glare, sorry guys. But this is fabbed in, all the rotted metal is gone. We got new metal in here. All in this corner, it's all welded in, taken care of. So yeah, it's getting there guys. Now we got to address this little corner down in here, but that's not a big deal. We'll do the same thing what we did on the other side on the frame rails here. As far as the back seat pan goes, we'll just cut a piece, we'll make it fit, we'll bend it, we'll do what we need to fix that up. Don't want any holes in the cab, don't want any carbon monoxide in the car itself, but we'll cut that out, we'll make it good. So guys, we got that piece put in there, got it welded in, buffed down. I got a few spots underneath on the frame rail that we got to do some plug welds from the previous install. But I think we're making headway. We're getting a good thing going here. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't know. I've sat behind this steering wheel the way it is, going boom, boom, boom. I'm looking forward to seeing this car done. Little by little, weekend by weekend, we'll get this car done. But for the most part, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I've enjoyed doing it. A little bit of fabrication, a little bit of weld, a little bit of buffing. But all in all, it's been a good day. So next episode, we'll cover that little spot that I was telling you about, just where the seatbelt mount is. We'll go underneath, we'll fix that. Next episode, we'll also do the passenger side. It's not as extensive as what the driver's side was, but we'll get that addressed, we'll make sure everything's solid. And for the most part, I think the big welds will be done after that. Then we can get into taking care of a little bit of leading, maybe fiberglass. I haven't decided yet. I'd love to do lead on it, just because that's what the factory had, and it seems to fill the welds a lot better. But we'll address that when we get there. Till then guys, like, subscribe, leave your comments. Love to hear your comments. Love the feedback. Take care.